Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening. How are you all? Are you okay? I hope so. I've been having the most frustrating week. Now, I'm just going to share with you today, partly because I just need to get things off my chest. And hopefully, maybe by doing so and by sharing, hopefully encourage some of you to get things off your chest too. Oh my giddy goodness. This week, and today in particular, has been a week of coming up against brick walls. Wherever I turn, I feel like I'm running into these darned brick walls. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I've had a massive pity party here today. On my own, of course. But yeah, I've had a proper little meltdown. I've sort of had half an hour of sobbing and properly feeling sorry for myself. But then, which is what I'm going to share with you now, I've sort of had that, right, deep breath moment. What are you going to do? How are you going to sort all this out? Because I think fundamentally, I am a problem solver. If I've got an issue, let's find a way to deal with it. Let's find a way around it. And that's really, really important when you're on your own anyway, if you live on your own, and family are miles away, what have you. But also if you're sort of striving for that self-sufficient, self-reliant life, a lot of times the only way to solve a problem is by doing it yourself. There's not necessarily money to throw at a situation to get it solved by someone else, for example. So yeah, I've had my meltdown. I've now had my deep breath. I think I've come up with a sort of a new plan moving forward, at least for the next few weeks. We'll see. So this all sort of, a lot of this is coming off the back of the video I made, the last video you will have seen, which is my May tour. And obviously you'll have seen that I was getting quite distressed about this pain situation. I think one of the reasons I was getting distressed is because it actually hurts. Now, I don't want to go on one too much. Oh, and look, I want to say two things before I talk about everything that I want to talk about today. One is, I've had my pity party already. And you know what? We're all allowed to have a pity party every now and again. So I've had that already. So this isn't, everything I'm going to talk about now, this isn't me now feeling sorry for myself. I've done that. It's just to sort of explain why things are like they are at the moment and why they're going to be like they're going to be over the coming weeks. So anyone who, I've had a few in the past, I know I'm going to get a ton of thumbs down for this video, but those people who leaving comments like, oh, I can't stand your whining and whinging, you know what, just don't watch. Right now, turn off, because you're not going to enjoy it. Don't call me a whiner and a whinger. I've done my whining and my whinging privately, and now I'm going to show how I'm going to fix things. So this is positive, even though it's coming out of a lot of negative stuff. So there we go. Said that now. So all of you, bugger off. I don't need to read your comments. Thank you very much. It's not helpful. That's the first thing. But the other thing is, I'm going to talk about money quite a lot in this video, because it has a huge impact. It has an impact on all of us. None of us can survive on zero. So I'm going to talk about it, but it's not my way of begging. I'm not asking anyone for any money. I don't need it. I'll manage. Thank you very much. So for all of those of you who are cynical enough to think that this is a big beg fest, no, it's not. So any of you who want to leave nasty comments about that, you can all bugger off too, and leave my lovely, lovely, beautiful cohort of beautiful people and me alone to just sit and have a chat now. Okay, done. Good. So off the back of that video, a lot of my distress it's because I'm in pain all the time, and because of that, anyone who's experienced that will know that you don't get a decent night's sleep, so you're continually running on empty anyway, you're continually in pain. Pain is incredibly exhausting. It also leads to all sorts of other worries, like, you know, gosh, if it hurts me to even walk to the plot, how on earth am I going to manage? How am I going to manage going forward? So that kind of worry in the back of one's mind is also incredibly debilitating. And that's all been playing on me loads in the last month or so, which is why, like I said, I've had this little meltdown today, but I'm trying to find solutions today. So, like I say, not a pity party, just a statement of facts. So, there I was, lying in bed last night, not being asleep. And I'm sure also that lack of sleep and that general kind of exhaustion that comes from it, I'm sure that gets in the way of our thinking, our clarity and our ability to sort of focus on one issue at a time, deal with it, solve it, whatever it is. So, I've been really worried about the garden, how I'm going to manage this year, digging, etc. Compost, oh my God, the whole compost issue. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Just the small amount of compost I use to get my seeds started with, not even having that. That's been so frustrating. It's now 8 weeks since I placed that order, 5 weeks since it was supposed to be delivered. All my emails are just getting bounced back. I have just this morning received paperwork from the bank for me to fill in to get a refund of that original money. So hopefully that's one thing I can do that's positive, is get my money back. It's a lengthy process, and why the heck should I spend all my time doing it? But I'm going to do it. So, yay, that paperwork's come through. Good. Anyway, so last night I was lying there in bed and thinking about the garden. Now, the thing about the garden, as you'll all know who've watched me for ages, obviously, primarily, that's about growing my own food, which is a huge part of being self-sufficient. But it's so much more besides. The garden is my joy. It's my soul. It's the place where I'm always the happiest. You know, there are days when I wake up in a funk. I go to the garden and literally within minutes, the funk is gone, all my troubles are gone. I just love being there. So there's no way I'm giving that plot up. I may have to speak to the committee to say it's not going to be perfect this year. There might be areas covered. We do have a rule, that's the allotment police, they've come to get me. We do have a rule that the plot is supposed to be 75% cultivated at all times. I don't know whether I'm going to achieve that this year, so rather than get kicked off, you know what, I don't think they would. I think I'm a valued member of that community and have been for years. I've always pitched in, so hopefully what they would say is, you know what, Vivi, yeah, fine, cover half the plot up, as long as it's not getting weedy and bothering other people, do what you can do for as long as you can do until you get your news. So, oh God, I completely lost my train of thought. This is what's happening because I'm tired. So yes, there's no way I want to give the plot up because it is my joy. So last night there, lying there thinking about it, I just thought, you know what, Vivi? Just chuck a load of money at the problem. It's very unusual for me to do that because I don't have the money to do that. However, with the sale of my lavender bags a couple of days ago. Thank you so much to everyone who bought lavender bags. They sold out in 2 hours, crazy. It took me like 2 weeks to make them and they're gone in 2 hours. Yeah, through the sale of them and through some drops of cash donations from you guys, thank you so much. I got £200 in the bank and I thought, do you know what, stuff it. I'm going to buy compost, not from the organic gardening catalogue. I'm going to go local. I'm going to go back to one of my local places. The site issue with my allotment site is it doesn't have an address, so I can't have things delivered to the site. So it is going to be a bit of hard work. There's no easy way, but I thought, you know what, let's get 20 bags of compost. I've never bought 20 bags of compost in my life. But let's just get 20 bags of compost, take a bag each day for the next 20 days, tip those out on top of the beds that I've had covered, and at least I can get some seeds in there, get some seeds started. Brilliant. So the more I thought about that last night, you know, I hummed and hawed because it is quite a lot of money. And I just thought, you know what, actually, done. Brilliant. That is a solution. And like I say, normally I wouldn't throw money at a solution or a problem to find a solution. But in this case, yeah, I've worked hard on those lavender bags. Why not use that for my joy of the garden? Yay! And I think having made that decision, excuse me, and also partly from, as I was saying in the tour video, partly from making the decision that this year some of my beds, sorry, tickle, chin chin. Yeah, partly from having made that decision that I would leave some of the beds covered, that starts to be a relief. I suppose in all of this, what I'm saying is whatever you have to do, whatever decision you have to make to give yourself some relief from the pressure, you know, just go with it. Give yourself permission to not be perfect or not even striving for perfection. If you don't normally spend money to solve a problem and you need to once in a while, do it. Don't feel guilty. I don't have any feelings of guilt about coming to this decision. So this morning I was like, yeah, great. I've got all sorts of other stuff going on still. My great aunt has been really up and down again. I've had so many phone calls. One of the problems about caring from a distance is, you know, you get a garbled phone call from a paramedic. She's fine, by the way, she's okay now. And then you get a garbled call from a doctor and then from the carer, and none of them are saying the same thing. And you just want to speak to, I want to go there and find out exactly what is going on. It looks like she's got some sort of infection, not COVID though, thank goodness, which is what I was led to believe at the weekend when I got a phone call. She's still at home, she's okay, the carers are in and out, they adore her, so we're all good, because she's going to be 100 at the end of the month, and I really want that for her. Anyway, yes, so despite all sorts of other stuff that's going on at the moment, I woke up this morning thinking, brilliant, yes, compost. You know I'm going to say, don't you? Anyway, so I went online to my local garden centre, the fantastic place that delivered those 3 bags to me a couple of weeks ago. Went through to see what composts they're selling. They're selling did I write it down? I think it's called New Horizon. I'm not familiar with, I think it's made or packaged by Westland. So they had these 60 litre bags, it's peat free, it's organic, and it's £8, which actually I don't think is a bad price. So I thought, brilliant, I will buy 20 sacks of that. That'll be £160, there'll be a delivery charge on top. But yeah, fantastic. So I'd phoned about a week ago and they said, we're not taking any phone orders, it's all got to be by by email now. So I thought, fine. So I did my email order, sent my email, got an email straight back, a generic one saying, sorry, we're not taking email orders. So this week, our government, I am not going to go into politics. Our government has decided that garden centres can open again. Great. So this little local place of mine, the email that came back said that they are going to open, but they're going to have to completely rearrange everything in order that anyone visiting can maintain their social distance. So they're completely revamping the whole. They've got a sort of an undercover shop area, and then the rest is all sort of outside in a big yard. So because they're busy with that, they can't take email orders, and they're not doing deliveries. They're only doing click and collect. I don't have a car. I can't click and collect. I can't take 20 times 60 litres. I can't take 100 litres of compost on the bus. Gutted. And what's more, so today's Thursday the 14th. In this sort of generic email they sent back, it said, from Thursday the 14th, please note. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? If I'd done this yesterday. So I was a little bit deflated about that. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose again. I was a bit deflated, but I thought, never mind, Vivi. There's loads of other garden centres around and everyone's opening up again. Brilliant. So I have basically spent 4 hours on the computer this morning. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so itchy. 4 hours on the computer and on the phone this morning. Everyone's reopening, but literally everyone's saying and doing the same thing. It's all click and collect only. No one is delivering. So now all this compost is available and no one's delivering. So then I thought, okay, never mind local. I'll go to some of these big national companies, you know, like the DIY stores, you know what I'm talking about. There are 2 nearish to me, sort of 2-3 miles away. Went on both sites. Yay, they have compost, brilliant. No deliveries. So then I resorted to going on Amazon to see what's on offer there. I found the same bag that my local place was doing for £8. £30. It's disgusting. There's no two ways about it. It is profiteering. It is disgusting. So, I mean, £30 for 60 litres. Are you kidding me? Disgusting. So, had a little bit of a hissy fit about that, and I just thought, you know what? I can't spend £30 on one bag of compost. That's crazy. I might start getting a little bit weepy again, just out of frustration. So, I've got, remaining from that order I did, I've got enough to do some beans in pots. Some. I would normally sow about 300 plus beans. I haven't got enough compost to do that many, which means I've got no choice but to sow them in the beds. There's no way I can sow them in the beds as they are because it's rock, so I'm just going to have to try and get those beds, you know, forked a little bit. Not dug, I'm not digging, just forking for fork's sake. So, that was the beginning of it's the beginning of the end of me going. So it's one of those moments in the day when I sort of say to myself, okay, I'm getting nowhere with this. I'm expending mental, emotional energy on it. I can feel myself getting really wound up and getting into a state. And that's not going to help with anything. It's not going to solve anything. So I'm sort of back to square one and thinking I'm just going to have to try and dig the garden as best I can, but I'm also preparing myself to leave some of it covered and just, you know, suck it up, buttercup, just do what you can do. So thinking, okay, fine. So then I thought, right, I'm going to check on the government website that I use for doing my tax returns. So ever since COVID-19 kicked off, quite early in the process, we had all our hospitality type places closed, so pubs, restaurants, that sort of thing. And those staff were promised 80% of their wages under this furlough scheme. It took ages to come about, but finally the government said for self-employed people adversely affected, they would be doing something similar. So I thought, oh, thank God for that, because even by the middle of March, even before lockdown, my income had started to go down. So they announced that they would be doing a similar thing. It would be 80% of self-employed people's income. I thought, thank God for that. But then they said it would be based on your tax return from 3 years ago. So the tax return for 17-18. Not 17-18 the year when people were wearing tricorn hats. 2017 to 2018. Told you it was an day. That was my first year of trading. Now at that time I hadn't really started doing much by way of sewing. It was just a trickle of income from my YouTube videos. I'd started to do a bit of the sewing, but generally what was happening was every time I was getting a bit of money in, as in a bit of profit, not that we would call it profit, but every time there was some money coming in, I was ploughing it straight back into the business. So I'd get a bit of money in and I'd spend it on fabric or stock for the shop, that sort of thing. So basically, my income 3 years ago was very little. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, to say they would be opening up the website to claims for this furlough scheme for anyone who's been adversely affected. That includes me. And we were all given different days and time slots to do our claim. So mine was for today. So that was another job for this morning. So I'd given up with the whole compost thing. I thought, right, let's get this furlough thing sorted. Go on the website. We are experiencing an extraordinarily high level of traffic on the website. Please come back later. Oh, 2 hours later, I get on. Brilliant. Do all my bits and pieces. So I had all the information to hand already, because in the email 2 weeks ago it said this is what you will need in order to complete your application. And what was great was I got an instant figure back. This is what I'm going to get. Yay! I am going to be paid by the government. Yay! £42 per week for March, April and May. After May, nothing. £42 a week. Oh my God. I mean, look, it's better than nothing and I'm very grateful for it. But God, when I think about how much tax I've paid over the years, how much national insurance I've paid over the years, thousands and thousands and thousands, £42 a week. So, look, it was at that point this morning, or I think it was around lunchtime, I burst into tears. I just started sobbing my eyes out. I was like, I can't get compost and I'm going to have to live on 40 quid a week. So, yeah, I think one of the points of sharing this today is to say, you know, we're human and sometimes there are moments in life where everything, it's just all too much and we're allowed to have a little breakdown, a little cry. We're allowed to have that. For goodness sakes, I'm not superhuman. There's been too much going on. There's been too much difficult stuff happening. I mean, I don't relay half of it to you. I don't relay the majority of it to you. So yeah, it's okay to have a massive cry. But then the moment comes when you need to stop. So one of the other reasons for talking about this today is because you haven't seen a video from me all week. And that's been another issue since it started. It was about the beginning of March. I'm sure you all know that, and this is true for all YouTubers, yeah, we kind of do it for free. It's free entertainment for you guys. But we do get paid. We get paid by the advertising revenue. So I don't get to choose which adverts appear on my videos. I don't get to choose, which is a shame. I wish I had some control. Excuse me, my phone is ringing. Oh, that's so sweet. That phone call, that was one of my local garden centres ringing to confirm that they can't deliver. I mean, oh God, I'm going to get all weepy again. That's so sweet of them, so kind of them. I mean, I saw the phone number on my phone and I was like, they're calling to get me a delivery. They're not delivering, but I don't know why that's made me so weepy again. I just think that's really great customer service. So even though they can't sort me out, they're ringing to let me know, and she was apologising like mad and, you know, asking if I wanted to arrange a click and collect, or not a click and collect, you know what I mean. But can't. That's so sweet. The difference in customer service between, say, them and that bloody awful company. Anyway, yes, right, what I was trying to say, just very quickly about this whole YouTube thing. So, yes, I don't get to choose which adverts appear on my videos. I have no control over that. However, by me making a video and making it available on YouTube, it's like I'm giving permission to advertisers for them to advertise on the back of my product. I'm inverting the commas on me. And, you know, I have, my average weekly audience is about 12,000 views. So I'm obviously a good space for advertisers to advertise on. Now, pardon me, it used to be that I make about 12 videos a month. And from those, I've never ever talked proper figures with you, but I'm going to now, who cares? I would make about anywhere between £20 and £30 on each video. So, you know, over the years as I've built the channel, it's got to the stage where I'd regularly make 30 quid on each video. Now, that probably sounds like quite a lot of money for a half-hour video. Ooh, 30 quid. Bear in mind, each video takes in total about 10 hours of my time. So that's including filming, editing, rendering, and then answering all the comments afterwards. Obviously, a video like this where I'm just sitting and chatting, there's no editing. Well, there will be today because of the phone call, but generally, this type of video where I'm sitting chatting is much quicker, much easier because it's one shot. I'm only setting up one shot. There are no edits, easy peasy. But with the gardening videos, what you see in half an hour, that probably will quite easily will represent 3, 4, 5 hours even in the garden. So, basing it on about 10 hours of work to produce a video, when my videos are making 30 quid, if not a bit more, and say to myself, well, that's £3 an hour. It's crazy. But those 3 videos a week, if that's bringing me 90 quid a week, great, because my bills are about £75 a week. So the 15 quid, that's great. That can either go on a bit of extra food, or it can go on, you know, I can invest it on some more fabric. You know, it's definitely not a substitute for a wage. You know, I don't think there's many people out there who would do a 30-hour week for 90 quid. But it was a really useful source of income. Plus, I really like making the videos and I love interacting with you guys. Brilliant. However, a couple of things. One, because I'm struggling so much in the garden at the moment, it's making it harder to make videos because most of the time I'm just huffing and puffing and moaning out loud. I don't mean to, but I do. No one needs to see that. The sort of changing positions, getting up and changing the camera, all that kind of stuff, it's just hurting too much. So it's become a little bit more difficult to do. But also the ad revenue. So the people at YouTube are now selling the advert space, as in me, way more cheaply. So I've gone from making, say, £30 a video to about £7, 7 or 8 quid on a video. It's just not worth it. I really want to share, especially because I know we've got a load of new gardeners who've joined us this year. All I would say is I've got a 3-year back catalogue, so all the information you can need is on my channel still. So if you go to May last year, you'll find all the information you need for May this year. Things don't change that much. Obviously there's a little bit of weather, but it doesn't change that much. Anyway, so that's another thing that's been breaking my heart a bit, that, you know, I put all this time and effort in, and actually there are 2 rewards for doing that. One is the reward of you guys, the comment and our interaction, that's lovely. But the other reward, obviously, is that bit of finance. So, yeah, there's just, I think there's just going to be a few less videos this month than usual because I cannot afford to spend 10 hours on something and only have, say, a tenner to show for it. So that's also been troubling me and upsetting me, because that coming down, actually I would say from the end of February I noticed it, and as we went into March, going into April, it was like, whoom. So, like I said right at the beginning of this video, gosh, I'm going on now, this is about trying to find the positives, trying to problem solve. All of these things have been, you know, bombarding me and worrying me. That's the thing, it's the worry. How can I sustain myself? Where am I going to get an income from? How am I going to manage the money? So I've had this, stiff. I had this massive meltdown, like I said, had my big cry. Then it's always time to sort of say to myself, right, Vivi, that's enough. You've had your moment. Go and wash your face. Blow your nose, because I make a lot of snot when I cry, don't we all? Blow your nose, wash your face, take a big, deep breath, pull your socks up, put your big girl pants on. It's a lot to do. Look at one thing at a time. How are you going to get yourself out of this pickle you've put yourself in? And I think the best thing at the moment is for me to focus on sewing rather than the garden, rather than videos. So if you think about it in a way, I've got sort of 3 main strands in my life. One is the garden, for me, for my food. 2 is the videos of the garden. That's also for me because I enjoy it, but it's a bit of income. And 3 is the sewing, which I also really enjoy, and that's income. So if the garden isn't going to produce as much food this year, I'm going to need a bit more money in order to buy food that I don't produce. If the videos are taking up too much time, if they're taking me away from doing stuff where I can generate money, you know, that's what I'll have to do. Someone had said to me, messaged me, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, sorry, darling. How about if I focused more on sewing, sell that, and then I could pay someone to dig the garden. It's a great idea in theory. It won't work for two reasons. One, because we're in lockdown, can't have anyone on site. And two, because sewing earns about £2 an hour, £3 an hour, whereas a basic manual labourer would cost me at least £10 an hour. So that wouldn't work. That's okay. I can have a think about it, think, oh, is that an option? Look at it, go, you know what? No, it's not an option. That's fine, move on. So, yes, I think there will be, over the next couple of months, I don't know, maybe things will pick up, I don't know, but there'll be a few less videos just because I'm not able to garden like I used to, a few less videos because financially it's not worth all the time it takes me to do them. I need to use that time instead to do some sewing. The sewing is something I can do and I love doing it, so I would rather spend my time doing something that doesn't cause me so much pain, that I really enjoy doing, and it can bring in some income. Yay! The lavender bag sold really quickly. Folk have been asking me for more. So I'm at the stage where I don't have any of my lavender harvest left. However, I did harvest from 2 different friends' gardens last year who asked me if I would like to, and I was like, yes, 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 please. They both garden organically. This isn't on the allotment, this is private gardens. They both garden organically, so even though it's not my lavender, it's organic, it's been harvested by me, it's been dried by me, it's been picked off and processed by me, so hopefully I can do some more of those soon. And what a joy to work with beautiful fabrics. I've got a load more Liberty fabrics to work with. Yay! So, what am I trying to say? Just get on with saying it, Vivi. Sorry, hang on. Actually, in terms of videos, I could do some sewing videos with you. That's an idea. I might do that. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself about making videos at all. It's not worth it. That pressure's not worth it. I will continue to see if there is somebody somewhere who can deliver compost, because that really will be amazing. And now that in my mind I've settled on that idea of using that £200 just for compost, I'm going to leave that tucked in a little savings account. So no matter how skint I get over the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to touch it. That is for compost. I'm determined to get some compost. It'll kill me. No, it won't. It'll save me from killing myself. So look, I wanted to catch up with you all today, partly to explain the video situation, mainly to explain the video situation, but also to say to everybody, I know it's interesting, someone asked me if the way I'm feeling is because of this COVID thing. I don't think it is. I don't think it's anything to do with that because, frankly, it hasn't altered my life that much anyway, apart from the fact that I can't see friends like up close to snog them or cuddle them, but I still see my friends. We're just standing quite far apart. So I don't think it's that. I think it's the momentum of my crappy health has gathered pace, and it's frustrating. I've always been a very physical, active, independent person, and I'm having to come to terms with the fact that I'm losing that. You know, there's no two ways about it. I'm losing some of my independence, which is frightening, worrying, disconcerting, don't like it, but you know what? That's part of the process I'm going through, is learning to accept that that's where I'm at. And that's what some of the tears are about, I think, as well, is I'm sort of mourning my old self. I want that old self back. So I'm coming to terms with the fact that I'm not going to have that old self back. That's why I'm having this meltdown, but I've had my meltdown, I've got my big girl pants on again. And for any of you who are, you know, in a similar... Oh, did you hear my knee crack? That was just because I flexed my toe. I think the main thing I want to say is it's okay to have those days where you are so frustrated, feeling so thwarted by everything you try to do and you feel like you're getting nowhere. It's okay to have a massive hissy fit. It's okay to cry your eyes out and stamp your feet, as long as stamping your feet's not going to hurt your knees. It's okay to do that. We have to let that steam off. We have to let that build up of negative energy. We have to just let it out. Let it out. Open the window. Blow it out there. Blow it outside. Once it's kind of out in however it comes out for you, for me, like I say, it's through having a bloody good cry, excuse my French. Then it's time to have that calm moment to say, you know what, hissy fitting and crying ain't gonna solve anything. So one thing at a time. What's the priority? What's the absolute priority? And if your absolute priority is to grow your own food, then focus on that. If you can't get compost, you'll have to dig. Whatever it is, you're going to have to do. If your priority is your finances, you might have to prioritise a day either on the phone or on the internet, looking at what help you can get in terms of, you know, whether it's this furlough thing or even things like, I think it's called universal credits now. That's like the old unemployment benefit things were. It might be that you have to spend a really horrible, frustrating couple of days filling in forms, making phone calls, but having done it, get some relief by getting that problem solved. Oh, and I need to say a thank you. God, I had it sitting up here to remind me. Thank you to Sandy. She sent me a couple of jars of turmeric capsules. So I'm going to start taking some turmeric to see if that helps with the old knees. I have in the past done my teaspoon of turmeric in my hot honey and lemon in the morning. Got out of the habit of it, but I'm going to give it a go. So thank you oh so much, Sandy. That's fab. And actually, I'm going to have a little review privately of my whole diet, because I think there are things like there's a bit of sugar has crept in. I've got a load of jams which friends have made, and I do like a bit of jam on toast in the afternoon as a little snack. But I think things like, I'm just going to look at, I'm not going to go on one about diet, because I know everyone's going to have 1,000,001 different ideas, and I don't want to be bombarded with diet ideas. Please, no, it's too much info. I know what I'm going to try. I know what I'm going to do, but that's the other thing with the knee situation. Just to say very quickly, literally every single day for about the last 6 weeks or so, I've been going online to try to get an appointment. I can't. No appointments available. So instead, it's another one of those things of feeling frustrated and crying about it. So instead of that, I'm sort of saying to myself, right, what can I do? What can I do about it? So I think a review of diet is always good from time to time, because I think things do creep in, or sleep in the case of jam. Yeah, things do creep in. I think there's always ways we can adjust things, so that's something I can do. I was, before lockdown, as part of my physiotherapy, I was using a weights room, and that I thought was really helping. I was definitely feeling better for it. So I can't go and use the weights room at the moment, so I'm going to see if I can kind of mock some of that up at home. Not quite sure how yet. I think it might involve old pairs of tights, what you call pantyhose in America, what we call tights in the UK, or stockings, whatever you want to call them. I've got some old ones that have got little holes in the toes that I keep for whatever reason. And I'm thinking, oh, I can tie those to chair legs because they've got a bit of give to them, but a bit of resistance. So if I tie it to a chair leg and do my leg raises, you can't see what I'm doing, can you? I'm kind of, if that's my leg, I'm sort of, there's my foot, there's my knee. I've got a bit of the stocking around my leg tied to the chair leg. Or do my little lifts like that with a bit of resistance. That might help. So yeah. Look, I know a ton of that sounded like I'm being really negative. It was so much negative crap. But the point is, there is a way to navigate through it. There's always a way to navigate through it, however you manage it, whether you have to have your meltdown first, or whether you're a person who you don't need to have a meltdown, you just find those ways anyway. But I think the big thing is to just look at one thing at a time. What is your absolute priority today? Is it your health? Is it your finances? Whatever it is, think about what the priority is and start to do your steps. And if you're really confused, if you know what your priority is, but you just don't have any idea where to start or how to tackle it, call a friend, or for instance, in the UK, I don't know what it's like around the rest of the world, but we have things like the Citizens Advice Bureau. They're probably not open at the moment, but they might be doing phone calls. They're really good on advising on things, financial, legal, that sort of thing, housing, what have you. The Samaritans are an amazing organisation in the UK. Again, it's a phone call away. So if you're feeling really down, look, you don't have to be feeling suicidal, but if you are, talk to them. Do not wait. Pick the phone up now and talk to them. But the Samaritans are great for when you're just feeling utterly bogged down by the weight of the world, by the weight of your worries, by all the things that are going on in your life. If you've had a bereavement, you've got bills coming in, they're not there to solve your problems, but they are a great shoulder to lean on or cry on. They're great at listening, and actually sometimes just by talking to someone else, you'll start to find out what it is that you need to do to help yourself get out of whatever horrid situation you're in. Yes, so ending on a positive note. Like I say, possibly less videos than usual coming out of me. Hopefully a bit more sewing coming out of me. I'll keep you up to date with that on my Facebook page. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep plugging away at the garden as best I can. Keep hunting for compost. I'm so determined. And generally just try and keep myself motivated, keep myself going, and allow myself moments of saying, you know what, it's not a great day. I'm human. I need a bloody good cry, and that's all there is to it. I'm done with that for today, though. I'm going to get on the sewing machine. All right, my lovelies, thank you so much for sitting with me and listening to me burble on today. You're always great for that, and I feel so much better for having had the opportunity to talk to you today. So until I see you again next time, don't know where it'll be. Might be in the garden, might be at the sewing table, don't know. I don't know when it'll be either, but it will be again at some point. We'll meet again. Stop it. All right, my lovelies, until then, please look after yourselves, take care of one another, take care of your neighbours and the vulnerable people in your neighbourhood, please. And sometimes the vulnerable people, it might not be the old people, you know. There might be someone who's just on their own, not coping brilliantly, and you might be just the lifeline they need. So Socially distance, reach out to folk. Take care, everyone. Lots of love to you. Until next time, bye for now.